All right, welcome back. We have Stephanie again.
Hello.
Today we're going to work on some hip openers, through kicking, okay, and a little bit of foam rolling and some stretching, correct?
Yes.
Because we have some hip injury that we want to work around.
Hip tension.
Hip tension,
Yes.
right? And you're wanting to like strengthen, but also get rid of the tension as well.
Correct.
Right, and just kind of bring a little bit more mobility to the area.
Yes.
See, perfect. So first thing, we'll grab the foam roller. Foam roller is something that you want to try to think of rolling in the directions that your muscles run.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're talking about the muscles here, you want the foam roller to be perpendicular to that.
Got it.
Right, and there, okay, all over the body. So you're going to do your legs, and you want that to roll up and down, nice and easy, not too fast. And you want to think about like you got a hard spot that feels a little icky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get through there and just kind of lay on it for a little bit, and also you can shorten your muscles up. But you'll be doing this on the ground, obviously. But
Right.
It's not too easy to do your chest or anything up here, but your back always works. But you don't want to go too low on your back. So
Okay.
I'll demonstrate here. I always start with the glutes, okay? And I will get around, put my elbow down, and get inside here between the hip crest and the hip, I forget what they call it, ball and socket basically.
Okay.
Right there, so you can get in here and get that whole glute, all right? And then once I did the glutes, I end up doing the back, okay? But when we do the foam roller on the back again, we don't want to be like this.
Okay.
Okay, there's too much tension on,
Yes.
on your back there, and too much pressure, right? So we always want to roll at least the ribs,
Okay.
right? And up. So it's like the mid, about as low as far as you want to go. Get the in between the shoulder blade and the spine,
Yes.
okay? You get here on, I'm going through this really quick. Normally you would spend maybe a minute or two on each section, you know, getting the lats here as well. So there's the back, right? And then you want to get all four sides of the leg. You want to get the hamstring, you want to get the IT band, quads, groin, right? So here, just kind of rolling nice and easy. It's been maybe 10, maybe 20 seconds or so on this part.
Okay.
And I would do that's my elbow, getting the other side. I feel that part right there.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, it's like just let it sit there, and then also like if you're in that place, you can move around a little bit, and that movement helps to open up everything. And then so you do the quad, and to get the inside here, that would be like this. And so this is also a very important part that's kind of sensitive and also needs to be really worked out. And then the last part would be the calves.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you always roll the entire body, or you just focus on?
Well, I didn't roll my neck, and I
Well-
didn't roll my chest or my stomach.
But do you normally?
Sometimes I do roll into my stomach and
Okay.
everywhere. I try to get roll wherever I can, but again, like the back is not a good place for a lot of people. You
Correct.
can push those discs out of place and
Yeah.
stuff.
Do-
But,
So if you had like a problem area, for example, like say this morning you woke up and your hamstring is bothering you, you would just roll that one spot, or would you just balance it out and make sure you do like all the leg areas?
The areas that are really bugging you wake up and you have hamstring soreness, you know, it's like rolling it will make it feel better,
Mhm.
but you have to be careful because it is hurt on some level, injury.
Mhm.
So if you go into the injury and start like really pressing it and causing a lot of pain, then it could be damaging it further.
Okay.
So it's something that it's the same thing with like stretching. You know, if I have a hurt hamstring, it's a little sore, probably ought to stretch it a little bit. If you overstretch it, it might make it even more sore the next day.
Got it.
If you have an injured hamstring, it's like you don't really want to stretch it. You kind of want to immobilize it, ice it, maybe move it around, get some light massage.
Mhm.
But so go ahead and give that a try. First on the glutes. So you're gonna sit on it. You're gonna put your left hand back if you're doing your left glute. Right there, perfect. side, you get to your elbow, and try to get in between this area right here.
Looks like that is where right there.
Very good.
Yeah.
We can, because it'll take some time to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's
right?
fine.
We can watch you do the whole thing, but
Just-
you go ahead and go to your back.
Okay.
And start doing your back and yeah. But I'm just saying we're moving through this kind of quick. But just checking that you know.
And then I can just go to the other side. Let me just
that
do
you
that.
too.
Oh, it feels so good on my hips.
It's what I learned from a strength and conditioning certification course that I took.
Yes.
Was that the foam rolling and the pressing, the massage and stuff like that. What it does is like when you have use and damage to your muscles, like especially like a lot of soreness,
Yes.
from a lot of tension.
Yes.
That can create little pockets of fluid in between your layers and your muscles and your membranes and stuff.
Okay.
And so then those kind of pockets kind of get stuck, similar to like a blister when you're burnt,
Okay.
right? So then like you kind of want to get that water, that fluid out,
Out of there.
right? And so then pressing the muscles is, imagine like a Ziploc baggie that's full of water,
Okay.
like to capacity.
Yes.
You can't move that thing very much. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So trying to move those Ziploc baggies is what we have when we have soreness,
Okay.
right? And then also if things end up like crystallizing or becoming more fiber,
Yes.
right? Then energy doesn't move through there as easily.
Okay. Understood.
Right, so you kind of get those pockets right there.
Yes.
And here's another like famous one where things don't really get, the tension there never gets relieved.
Okay.
And so it becomes harder and harder and harder.
Got it.
Right? So that's why the foam rolling is good for regenerating the entire body,
Mhm.
but then also preparing it, making it more supple, and then preparing it for exercise.
Okay.
Right. And we're gonna do some just light stuff here. Otherwise, I would say, it's a better idea to go through the foam roller completely,
Mhm.
the whole thing, before you start to exercise.
Correct.
Also, at this certification course, they would, seem to say like, foam rolling is so good at preparing people for exercise and prevents injuries so well that you kind of have to do this. Otherwise, it's a little bit like you're putting them at risk and you're
understand.
kind of liable for injuries.
Yes.
Right? Imagine you didn't do the foam roller one day and somebody pulls up with like a bad hamstring pull, right? And like,
That would not be good.
that's on me.
Right.
So anyways,
Yeah.
what I like to do in terms of like teaching people how to kick, and also for myself and trying to get my hips to open, because I have zero hip opening flexibility.
Okay.
I'm just really working on that and being able to get my leg up into position. But from the ground, it's easier to learn.
Okay.
Right. So when I teach, for example, the roundhouse, first thing I do is I get here and I teach how to do it with the hips immobilized, and we're
Okay.
only doing the arm and the leg action.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead, lay down. You're on your left hip. Or you can face the left hip.
Look, it's weird.
Yeah, that's good. So facing me. All right, so we're here. We want to lift that leg up nice and high, right? Try to open up, and you'll get that muscle right here nice
Yep.
and flexed, right? The one we just felt good about rolling, right? So bring this knee back, right? Because you want this, like imagine you're gonna kick the bag. You can actually line up your legs to be like right at the bag here,
Okay.
okay? And you want to line up and be like this. My leg straightens right before it hits the bag, right? Here, back open. Here, boom. Right, now we can come up to our hand. Okay, and then we straighten here. Go ahead and get to the bag here so you can have something to kind of have as a target.
Okay.
And so, that's a good
This?
spot. Maybe a little bit farther back. This way, yeah, and get your foot closer. There you go.
Like this.
Yep. Yep. And throw your arm back, and everything's gonna meet right in the middle. Very good. Nice. Very good. Okay, get a little bit higher. There you go, nice. And what you're getting there is this part of the hip is activated by lifting right here.
Okay.
And this half is there for the opening of the hips, right? And so go ahead. Go ahead, switch to the other side. There you go. Just at first on your elbow. Just get the pattern down. With those toes higher. Very good, very good.
Ooh, that feels so good in my hips.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Nice. Very good. All right, so on the back now. Now you're on your foot. I'm sorry, on your hand. And then you lift your hip. Very good. Also think like as you're here, this is good, okay? But I also want to like turn my hip over this way. That's
Okay.
where the power of the kick comes.
Okay.
Right, so if you come up straight, it's quicker,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But the power comes is when I come up straight and then I turn it over. Right. Very good. A little bit higher. Very good. Excellent. All right, and so now that's like good. What happens is for getting flexibility
Yes.
and for things like that, you need to tell the muscle to shorten and lengthen.
Okay.
Shorten and lengthen. When it lengthens, it needs to kind of be lengthened all the way. And so for me, opening up my hips and getting groin flexibility,
Yes.
a lot of that is getting my outer hips, glute muscles up here to activate better and to tell these muscles to relax.
Okay.
Right? Because these are taking over some more responsibility, they're getting stronger, these guys can relax and lengthen. When these guys contract, these are told to turn on.
Okay.
Right? So the manual press, like the foam roller, can get those muscles to turn off. Stretching can get them to elongate a little bit longer, right? But they're still kind of turned on. When you are opening, there's inhibition, right? When you're opening your hips, the inside legs, inside here are inhibited.
Okay.
Then they relax. The next kick I would teach people to learn is going to be the side kick or the back kick. Okay, so the side kick here. Back kick would be straight on here like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is just like a simple regular exercise that's for the glutes.
Yes.
Right? And then what I would do for the side kick is we would be here and then back. Right. So now this is a different part of the glutes, but just because my toes are turned out a little bit.
Right.
Right. And then from here, it would be my roundhouse. And then back, I can get my hook kick.
That's cool.
Is it?
I like the hook kick.
That's cool.
It seems like it would be like.
Just think about all the muscles that I'm using here. Like these are going to be primarily my glutes.
Right.
Down the middle and the back. This is going to be a little bit more my upper glutes as I'm coming here.
Okay.
Extending there.
Yeah.
Right. And then as I'm doing my roundhouse, it's going to be a little bit more of my front and my hip flexors. Right. And then as I come back, I'm going to be using some hamstring and more glutes to bring them back in that direction.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So we're working multiple directions of movement, applying it to like it goes this way, and that way.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And then when you're also facing, because these are the different types of kicks. So you're here like this. This would be my front kick. Here. This would be my roundhouse kick. This would be my side kick. This would be like my back kick.
Right.
Right. So my hook kick would be like that. Right.
Okay.
So those are the main kicks that you can. Those are the main ways that you can throw your foot at somebody.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's also another one like a axe kick, right? But that's like all like
I like that one.
abs and but I'm going too fast.
It's okay.
Showing too many things. We'll just go with the right here. Space this way.
Okay.
You can see. Right. Just bring the knee, the elbow, go straight back and up. And when you're there, you want to feel like you're flexing the glute.
Yes.
And those back muscles. Straighten that leg too. Very good. Here, other knee, elbow, straight back, straighten. You also want to look. I'm remember to do that all the time. But here now I'm looking where I'm targeted.
Yeah.
And now my foot's out and I lift it up and go higher. Look at my hips are a little bit open.
Okay.
There you go. Nice. Very good. Here. So here. Lift that knee up. That's what opens the hips. Straighten that leg. Push that heel out. Very good. And now we're going to come here like this. And we're going to stick the foot out here. And we're going to bring it across. My hook kick back. Sitting to your here. Now you're going to come up and do that roundhouse that we already did.
Okay.
Across. Alright, now we're here. That's going to be straight. And then as you bring it across here, sit up. Good.
Okay.
And you just do the same thing over again. Boom, boom. Or the other way if you wanted to.
Okay.
Back, side, round. Okay.
Yeah.
Got those.
All right.
Now we'll do.
Oh, that's a good combination. I like that.
Yeah. Maybe check the camera and make sure. So, and then moving on to the kicks,
Yes.
right? And thinking about now when we do these kicks and we're trying to hit the bag, it's not a great idea to try to launch your leg and your hip up there and straighten them and smack it into the bag
Okay.
all at once.
Great.
Right?
Yes.
It's like there's a shock that goes through your legs. Things all of a sudden get stretched.
Okay.
You know, so I would not suggest trying to. And this bag is pretty light if you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Haven't noticed, but I wouldn't suggest trying to really pound the bag
Okay.
with your leg.
Got it.
You know, this is like for target practice, and so without even touching the bag or anything here, I'm holding myself up now. So this is like I started on my elbow, on the ground, on my hip, and then I'm getting up. The more and more up I get, the more and more movement I can create,
Okay.
and the stronger my kicks get. So, you know, holding the wall, so I'm not able to hold the position. If I don't hold the wall, I might not be able to hold the position.
Okay.
Right, but if I can hold the position, then holding the wall, I don't want to really do. I
Okay.
can hold it here, and I can kick.
Yes.
The other thing that I like to do is when I kick and I extend this leg, I always touch the face.
Okay.
The face. I have to always touch my face. But I always tell people to touch the face, or touch your face. I guess. So, the face. Here I touch. Here this kind of like helps me to ground through this point and say like this is the grounding,
Okay.
and this is the one that extends.
Right.
The same thing happens when you punch, is you touch
Yes.
the face as you touch their face. You touch the other face, and this
Yeah.
is the face. And so as you kick here, I touch the face. Right. As I kick here, I touch the face, and this is what's happening throughout the body. Is that you have this. One is the end and the other is the out.
Okay.
Right, so then as I'm here like this, those go together, right here, boom, using some power, toward here, boom, just touching
Okay.
the face all the time. But anyway, so go ahead, grab the wall right here. Foot position is very important on this guy. So we're going to be kicking something there. Sorry, we need to position our heel so that we can kick it. So if I'm doing side kick and I do this, my heel is not really positioned to maximize my ability to get my hips there.
Right.
My heel's there now, and my hips are able to move that way and able to come out, and I'll be careful doing that.
Okay.
Because as well, you don't want to like launch your leg up there and get this stretch all of a sudden like that.
Okay.
Right, that's why we're holding the wall, and we want to be kind of gentle with how we extend and back. And here this knee comes up, and it's going to be on the fire hydrant open. This is my side kick. This would be more like a back kick.
Okay.
I'm going to make my back kick would be more straight and be here, where side kick might be more that way.
Got it.
But I'm not the kicking expert. There might be some kicking people out there that are really laughing at my my kicking ability.
Got it.
And they're thinking like, wow, that's really, but I know how to teach it,
Okay.
right? I don't
Yes,
know how to get
obviously.
my leg all the way up there without hurting myself because of all the wrestling and weightlifting and stuff that I did.
Okay.
I kind of wound all these muscles super tight and these chest muscles super tight. But those are, if you do those 3 times a week,
Okay.
add that to your schedule. Plus the stretching that I do, we can do some of that.
Okay.
But I would like to do one more where we go through a full movement circuit.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, and it includes the stretches.
Okay.
But for this one especially, we'll go through some of the stretches that I would do after activating all this.
Okay.
Right?
Perfect.
After you tighten it all up, right? You don't want to keep it tight.
Right.
You want to help it to be supple again. So moving through a range of motions is usually how I stretch. It's not usually holding a position and just holding it. But so here, well, the way that I kind of get my stretches here is I like to move through these ranges of motion, right? So I kind of, what I'm doing here is I'm keeping my hands still,
Right.
and I'm keeping this knee tented, and I'm moving myself around this way and trying to feel that tension right there. So I float it right there, boom, and then this way here, I'm really trying to think about, I can push my hip back even more, or I can push it up here. It's gonna hit a different part of the hip.
Okay.
You see, so we're moving it back, and like this foot, moving this foot right back, and pulling myself forward. So that now I'm like more into the front and side of my hip,
Okay.
right? And now here, like we start coming around like this, here, feeling the front of the hip,
Yes.
right? And then we start to turn and be here and start to put the weight more onto the right side. Now it's getting to be more of the side of the hip. And so I kind of play around in here and feel, because you should be able to keep tension throughout
Okay.
the movement from one side to the next. You see what I mean? Like I should tension meaning like this muscle is stretched,
Yes.
right? And if I keep pressing myself and leaning into it, there should be some more tension here.
Okay. Sure.
Should be tension as I come up. I can feel the tension here now
Okay.
instead of where it was down here.
Correct.
Right now it's starting to move up here and I get the tension here. And as I flip over my belly, it's going to be more here,
Okay.
right? And now it's in the middle, right? And I start coming here now. And now it's more in my belly front, side of my belly and down to here, right? And then I start to come back and walking my hands even if I need to. And notice how my hip is floating
Yes.
because I'm putting my weight into it. I'm really trying to like put my weight into my knee that way,
Okay.
right? And move around in here, get really comfortable. Don't put too much tension on it, right? But put a little bit of challenge for it
Okay.
and really think about getting that range of motion. The other one I like to do here is with the knees wide, right? Before I'm here like this because I'm kind of crossing over and I'm wanting to get the outside of my hips.
Yes.
Right? Now I'm trying to get the inside of my hips here, right? To the front of my hips, right? So if we frog split, get those knees wide as we can. Should not feel it inside the knees right here. Right?
No, I do not.
If that's the case and you're out like that, that's not good.
Okay.
Right? You should feel it more inside your hips,
I do.
right? Your groin.
Yeah.
Right? And we come here, and then we can start to lift. So you feel it now when you're opening and you have these muscles inside stretched, and then I rotate my foot like this now, I feel more
Yep.
the inside muscles there stretched.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as I'm coming in, I can little circles in my heel here. Just be careful of your kneecap. Around the other side here.
Feels so good.
Push them back. Right. Here, you think like now you can feel this. It's more like you were kind of like hamstring groin kind of area. Right. hip flexor groin. And then go down here to my elbows. Rock forward and back. And then as I'm in here now, because we want to work the muscles that are between these hips.
Okay.
Right? And then also work the movement of those. And so we're trying to have like rotation through this plane right here.
Okay.
Right? But you notice your hips will be stabilized.
Okay.
Right? So this is going to be trying to move, and you're going to feel a lot of these muscles back here to contract. As what we're doing is I'm making a big circle with my arm, and I'm looking back, and I'm opening up.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to feel a lot of your back muscles contracting. Right? And on the other side, you can do all one side at once and really hit those back muscles. Right?
That's so good.
Get some pop. Push those hips back as well. Right? Get into that position where you're pushing those hips back, and now you're trying to open up. Very good, very good. Open up as much as you can. Like I go slow, because a lot of times when you come through here, if you have like, I noticed I was kind of going through that part a little fast, and then a little shoulder impingement
Okay.
that I had to work on. But like, I'm trying to get myself all the way back, all the way there.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And that's where the more muscles will flex.
Okay.
Because you got to the range of motion, so that's not good enough. I need more, right? Instead of really flexing those back muscles, and really working to open up my shoulders into relation, especially where my hips are. I also just do those little circles like this, going up. Probably do like 10, maybe 20 sometimes.
Well, that's a good idea.
And then circles back, going the other way.
I like it.
Right there, especially for me, like that's my trouble spot. So I'll do more circles in that area.
Okay.
All right, so that's like, we did the outside hips, front of the hips.
Yes.
Okay. Hamstrings for me, I like one at a time. And so kind of have those toes pointed out the side, these toes are pointed forward.
Yep.
I put my hands behind my back, and put my head forward, right there, until I feel the tension on my hamstring.
Yes.
Right, if you're not feeling the tension on the hamstring, maybe straighten your back a little bit more, bring your head down more. Right? You don't want to like come here like this. I don't feel it. Right? But you want to keep that back straight and try to like tilt these hips back so you feel that hamstring stretch.
Yes.
Now I keep my left hand behind my back here, right? And I do the same thing with these arm circles that I did with the groin forward. Yep. And then I'll put my hand down on this side. And then I'll open up. This one's really hard to open up here. You gotta really be careful that you're not putting your back into a position that's compensating.
Okay.
Right? But like, here I'm pushing down and stabilizing with this.
Yes.
Opening up with these muscles.
Yes.
And coming back this way. And keeping this front leg straight. Trying to get this as much as I can back here. And then this one goes behind my back. And keep my head up. Right? Open up that chest. Look at your hand. Big open space there. Let's go to the other side, even it up. I usually do about like 3 on each side. So it's about, 30 seconds to a minute in each position. Right here. Notice also how I'll try to open up these hips as much.
Are my hips square to where? Here, or are they kind of going this way?
When I turn and I put my hands down, they're going to square a little bit more this way.
Okay.
And when I open up a little bit, they're going to, but for the most part, they shouldn't move too much. But the idea here is that we're getting the stretch on the hamstring and our rotation through our mid-back here, and strengthening these rear shoulder muscles. And so put that hand behind the back here, keep that front leg straight. Straight. More straight. No,
Straighter.
Straight as straight. The left hand, I'm making my arm circles.
Do I
You look up.
take it back or take it front?
You can do either way.
Does it matter? Okay.
But I usually start from the back,
front, kind of like you're swimming. Here, and this I can feel part in my back, so I'm real careful not to overdo it.
Okay.
But at the same time, if I'm feeling it there, it's probably because this side isn't as good at getting in that position.
Got it.
So I need to work on that. I can't like completely avoid it, right? But if I work on it and I try to blast it like a foam roller on a sore hamstring, then it's gonna be a negative result. My efforts will backfire if I try to do too much. All right, so.
These feel so good.
Yeah?
Oh my God. I guess this area feels really good right now. And
Nice.
we hardly did any, I mean, we did, but
Right.
I
Well,
will,
we were sweating.
I will extend it.
We're sweating.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's work, and especially when you're working here and
Really
holding,
good.
then your breath can kind of be hard to maintain.
Yes.
So when you have those tough positions and you're rolling through, it's like always breathing and focusing on keeping your breath moving. I think a lot of times in yoga practice, they'll try to pace your breath, but your breath is. Other people will run out of their breath at a certain rate.
Okay.
Right, they'll get more winded
Yes.
than I would, or vice versa. And so if I'm getting more winded and you're keeping the pace with the breath, maybe I have to just take much bigger breaths.
Okay.
Right? But what I like to do when I'm stretching is just like focus on just keeping it moving.
Okay.
Right? Don't let it hold.
Okay.
Right? Because when you get into those positions and you get here, you can feel yourself kind of getting here.
Yes, that's so true.
If you can't talk and you can't breathe, your core is probably not too relaxed.
Okay.
And you're probably guard tensing up. Last one here. So we're here wide. This is my not my forte.
Okay.
So this is like about as wide as I get, right? And so here I'm gonna be open, so I have my chest nice and tall, arms straight, and I'm gonna be doing this with my arms, right? So one goes behind the lower back, the other one goes.
Oh,
front.
okay, okay.
So I should probably be. You can move back.
Alright.
Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to like tilt my hips. My hips go this direction. My head stays up. And I come here and I start to kind of get a little bit of a stretch in my hamstring.
Wow.
And then I come back up. You should feel that in your groin when I'm here. Right? If I'm here like this, I'm really pushing my hips off to my left. I should feel it on the inside of my right groin.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now if I start to come here like this, now I start to feel it groin hamstring.
Yep.
And now it's kind of like more hamstring right here. You see?
Yes.
And I come back, I'm here, I'm pushing my hips forward as well. So like right there, I feel tension. I didn't lose the tension, it just moved from different muscle groups.
Correct.
So now I have the tension here. Okay, I'm gonna keep the hips forward. I'm starting to float them off to my right. Okay, my arms are still back behind my back. Because if they're not, then I start to be here. You see?
Yes.
So I'm here, I'm touching behind my back, behind the head. Feel that stretch all the way through my hand, my groin. And you're like right there is a point I probably don't ever get. You see what I mean? That's where it's like really feeling kind of funky, right? It's right at that one point right there is where I'm probably not getting a whole bunch of mobility and stretching.
Okay.
And so that's like where we want to move through that and allow these muscles to get some use, right? To get some lengthening and some mobility. Okay, and then so then the last one that kind of flows with that one, like I can come here and I can be focusing on this inside hamstring and groin. Okay, but now as I start to turn and I come like this way and I start to turn my toes down and I come here and I put my arms behind my back the other way,
Okay.
I start to feel the tension in the front of my hip.
Yes.
Especially if you rotate your toes. There you go. Now straighten that knee. Very good. And push your hips forward. Lean your head back.
Ooh.
Turn a little bit more. Look that way. You feel it in front of your hip. Yeah?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So now they keep that tension on the front of the hip. Keep your heel up off the ground. Well, not like that, but so here. See, what I don't want to do is have my knee out like that.
Okay.
This is going to put a lot of tension on these muscles on the inside. That's not how you want to be athletically. You want to have like that position.
Got it.
Right? But then I straighten it and then I feel it on the
When
front.
you get
So
the strap,
as
I understand.
hip flexors here, right? And then I go back. I keep my hips forward. I start to turn. My heel goes down as I meet the middle. And then I come back this way. My toe comes up. My heel's down now. Right? You see how that works? Heel down, facing towards my knee.
Right.
Keep the tension. Come back the other way here. Arms neutral. And now it's that front of the hip. Right? And then back. Okay?
Yes. I like that.
That work?
That feels awesome.
Yeah. Get the other side too. So we're gonna be here again. Straighten, face the toes. Hip flexor, face away. Keep the tension, keep the hips forward. And now your head goes opposite. Right. It's also like contrast. My hips are trying to go forward and my head is trying to go back. See, that's how I get contrast between the upper and lower. Right. So then if my head's going back, and my hips are going forward, my foot is back, there's a lot of contrast. So then the stretch gets put in that place where the contrast is in the middle. In the middle of the contrast, I should say.
Oh my gosh. That feels so good. That's a great stretch.
Right, so try to make sure that as you do that, you're here,
Yeah.
you have your hips this way. I'm going to keep them this way.
Okay.
Because they come from here, there, my hips are still, notice that knee's still bent.
Yes.
So if I come here and I have the tension here, and then I switch, and then I go there, I missed everything between.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I keep my hips this way, I keep my hands behind my back, right? Right there, I kept that tension on there the whole time.
Okay.
Right, which is important to be able to get from one to the other, and maybe even the other,
Okay.
to transition smoothly
Okay.
without going like 1, 2,
Got it. Got it.
right? Because that smooth transition is also where you're moving through those ranges of motion, and so your inhibitory nerves on those areas are like, chill out, and then the ones that are trying to get you into that position are kind of like, all right, let's flex, let's get into this position, but we're gonna be really careful. And you just, the more and more you do that, the more times you take yourself through a position, the more comfortable that you get with going through those positions.
Okay.
The more that your muscles will learn to relax and to allow you to do it.
Okay.
And the more that energy will be moved through it. So that'll be regenerative towards those areas.
Okay.
Right? Especially if you're not doing it to the point where you build up high amounts of lactic acid.
Correct.
And then don't move it through afterwards.
Okay.
Right? So like, you know, one thing you don't want to do is like, I'm going to strengthen my hips. Or I'm going to be able to go run like we talked and like run 10 miles, make yourself sore.
Correct.
And then never release those muscles and relax them. It's going to do more damage than anything. So light, easy activity, stretching to clear things out afterwards.
Okay.
And making sure that you do the foam roller regularly. I guarantee you'll start feeling way better.
Okay.
If you don't know where to find a foam roller, I would sell you mine, but it's my only one, so
I will find one.
$1,000 for that one if you want.
Got it. Got
But I know that they have them, and you can get them delivered from San Jose.
Oh. Okay.
And also, you can just go to the hardware store. Anybody at home, if you guys want to make a foam roller of your own, you can go to the hardware store, get a nice strong PVC pipe, not a crappy one.
Right.
You don't want to lay on that when it breaks.
Breaks, exactly.
Yeah, it's
That'd
got to
be
be a
good.
really strong pipe, or even a piece of wood,
Okay.
or a hard ball, like a hard medicine ball
Okay.
that doesn't give when you sit on it.
Correct.
Right, that's my favorite.
Okay.
I'm looking for one of those.
All right.
But anyways, so we've done the goal planning.
Yes.
We've done some jumps and some kind of plyometrics for strengthening the legs and the core, getting yourself ready for more activity, hip opener. And the next one would be great if we could go through the whole circuit and do the stretching.
That would be cool.
And that way I can take you from like A to B to C to D.
Okay.
And then the people at home can learn from what you've learned of how to approach things, right?
Yes.
All the way up into the proprietary, I haven't come up with a solid name for it yet, but combo circuit workout.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, perfect. So, any other questions?
No, but in all seriousness, just through this time that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
my hips feel amazing.
Nice.
Really
That's
good.
great.
I'm so
glad
pumped.
to hear that.
Thank you.
Keep them moving.
I will.
Right.
I am. It's just
I'm gonna ask you how they
know.
feel tomorrow.
I'll be like, Nate!
And what did
Darn
you
it!
do about it? Because if it was sore, then
Right.
you gotta kind of do something.
Of course.
Anyways, there should be just a little bit of soreness, but like heavy soreness means we traumatized and we just scale it back a little bit.
Okay.
So just listening to your body is the key thing. So.
Of course.
All right, enough talk from me. We'll do the high five.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.